Gaming, brought to you live on twitch.tv at Commando Gaming 1. We're continuing our series on BattleTech Advanced. I'll be playing for about 2 hours. Then my partner will be joining us for an additional 2 hours. So yes, you can have 4 hours of BattleTech Advanced each and every morning, brought to you by Commando Gaming on twitch.tv. So we're continuing our series, so let's jump right into the action. Had a nasty battle to end the last stream. So we need to, one thing, I turned off my volume, master volume yesterday. So let's jump into it. So we should have some decent missions here. We're on our 7th day of streaming this fresh start. Alright, so we got a show of force, frontal assault. Let's go for a frontal assault. These defend the base missions are usually great ways to get salvage. So right now we're anchored by 2 hunchbacks. We have a Firestarter, a Panther, and a Cyclone. And let's jump into it. Hope everybody's having a good morning this morning. We had a great day of MechWarrior 5 yesterday. You can find the video on our history for Commando Gaming 1 at twitch.tv. Lots of fun with some MechWarrior 5. MechWarrior 5 is a game that really... The problem was when MechWarrior 5 came out, it was a bit of a disappointment because the developers had spent over 2 years developing MechWarrior 5, and it very much came out as an unfinished product. There was lots of things that could have been improved before it was released. There's lots of frustrations with the gameplay and the settings. Hold on, let me fix my camera. Sorry about that. When I set it up earlier, my camera was just fine, and now it's off kilter. Not sure why. It'll just take me 1 minute to fix. Yeah, that's weird. Let's have this set up way before we start the stream, but must have had a glitch, so that's the way it goes sometimes. Alright, let's jump into this mission. We've got a defend the base mission. These are always great for salvage. One of my top choices when I'm trying to get salvage, which is quite, let's face it, always in this game. You can never get enough salvage. If you have enough mechs and components in this game, then it's time for a restart, because that means you've done and seen it all. Certainly not the case with our early start here. So we got an enemy force of at least 3 mechs coming in at us.
How might I help?
So let's head out in that direction.
Full speed.
Thomas Theismann, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that.
Waiting for orders.
Please feel free to say hello in the chat. I don't believe we've crossed paths before. And I love to get to know each and every person who visits our stream. Hold on, we got a Got a bot in the chat. I'll take care of that momentarily. Oh, Thomas, you're just starting BTA. Great. Happy to have you here. We stream BattleTech Advanced every morning, 6 days a week. So Monday through Saturday, we do BattleTech Advanced from 9 a.m. Into the morning. So if you're just starting out with BTA and you want to see some gameplay on a regular basis, or more to the point, if you want to come back and ask for input or help, we are here for you. So, and also while I am streaming, I try to explain why I do what I do in the strategy portion of the gameplay as much as I can, and also in the mech bay. So people who are new to the mod can kind of learn the basics of the game, because it's very different. It's very different than regular BattleTech, as you're probably figuring out. Alright, so we've got these engineers that are coming in. They're going to turn on our turrets, which is a great way to get easy salvage on a defend the base mission, is to let your turrets do at least some fire support and some heavy lifting on destroying those enemies. Thomas, I'd also let you know that by giving us a follow, you're entered into our free Funko Pop giveaway. And you're welcome to stop by our Discord as well if you need any help on BattleTech Advanced. There's also the main BTA Discord. Took 4 starts to survive your first mission. So one of the things you have to do is sometimes when you start on BTA, you end up on a higher level planet. So one of the first things I tell people is it's okay to move to a lower level planet that you feel comfortable with. Oh, awesome, Thomas. I'm assuming that's where you found our stream notification. So that's fantastic. Our Discord is certainly not a replacement for the BTA Discord. But we play a wide range of games on our channel, so we like to invite people to check out our Discord as well. Let's see, we've got Ostel, we've got the Excavator Mech. All right, so the Ostel's definitely the biggest threat, so let's go after the Ostel first. Ooh, lucky shot on that PPC hit. So Thomas, you're right. The difficulty level is much higher in BTA. We actually have a number of people who have joined us recently who are starting out with a fresh start. And, some of them got frustrated the first couple times they tried. It's not unusual with BTA to start and restart a few times while you're getting into the hang of it. And I actually recommend it, because after people play for a while, they kind of figure it out and they feel that they could do better, and they just do a restart before they get too into their story. So I would be very open to that. If you are relatively early on in your playthrough and you're like, wow, I'm finally figuring out how to play this game, there's nothing wrong with doing a fresh start early on if you feel like it's going to be advantageous to you, because there is a steep learning curve, and everything in this game has its price. So, there were times very early on when I started playing BattleTech Advanced, I restarted several times. until I got to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, I understand what I'm doing now.
Tell me what to shoot.
And I felt like I could really make a serious go at a campaign. So don't feel like you're stuck. So, Thomas, where did you start out? Because each start has different pluses and minuses and difficulties. So, for example, if you start in the inner sphere, I would start with House Davion. It's actually probably the easiest start for a new player. And then it gets harder as you go further out into the periphery. In pirate space, how hard your start is. Oh, you finally got a decent mech start of mix of starting mechs. Yeah. Magistry of Canopus. Okay, that is not an easy start. So, hats off to you for starting out at the Magistry of Canopus. The farther you go from the inner sphere for your start, the harder the start is. And, for a new player, please do not go to clan space until you feel very comfortable and you have a large amount of mechs that you feel are very high quality. Because I've known some people who say, hey, I really like the clans. I'm going to start out with a clan start. And then they get destroyed and then they don't want to play anymore. So please stay away from clan space for a while. That's my number one recommendation, is stay away from clan space until you feel very, very comfortable with your start.
Yes, Commander.
I usually go to clan space when I have at least 3 or 4 assaults and I have a couple heavies and that I feel really comfortable with. Yes. Okay, so several 1.5 skull planets near the start planet in Magistry. Yeah. So for that reason, it actually is good for you to start there. The challenge is you're not going to get the best mechs or technology with that start. You have to work your way towards the inner sphere to get some of the good stuff. But that'll happen with time. Looks like this first force is only 3 mechs. Unless there's one hiding. Thomas, are you playing with all of the DLCs? Because that's also a factor too.
As you wish.
Especially when you're playing in the urban environment like I am here, it increases the difficulty by a pretty large margin. Let's hit this Ostel. Nice hit on the Ostel's leg. I'll head that way, Arano. Oh, okay. Excellent. Excellent. I'm glad you are making an informed start in this mod. Alright, so this is our Cyclone. I just put this together. So the strength of the Cyclone is that it's going to be a backstabber for us. So let's actually see if we can move the Cyclone. See if we could find if there's a 4th enemy mech. I don't know if there is. Alright, so let's work on getting into the rear. Oh, look at that lucky hit on that Orion. Lethal damage.
That's a kill.
All 4 parts of an Orion, folks. That just made our mission right there. That was very lucky that we got a headshot on an Orion when it's got no damage. Are you talking about battle armor? I think you might be talking about battle armor there, Thomas. All right. Okay, we can hit this hostel now. So hopefully we can keep working on this hostel. The fact that we got all 4 parts of that Orion is basically going to be our salvage unless we find something better.
What are your orders, Skipper?
Hey, you know what? I understand what you're saying, Thomas. I actually always recommend that people have some easier settings the first time they play BattleTech Advanced. And then, if you really love the game like most people do, then you just step up your difficulty. So, there's nothing wrong with tweaking your rules to be a little bit more favorable the first time you play this game. Battle suits, battle armor, tomato. Yeah. Yep. Understood, Thomas. We actually have one of the streamers on our channel that actually did a battle armor start, which was pretty crazy. I give my hats off to him. That was quite a playthrough. Oh, that excavator mech got in close range, and the big strength of the excavator mech is melee, so we're going to have to... He didn't quite get in melee range there, luckily. We've got to get rid of that excavator mech as quickly as we can. Ooh, luckily we got some fire support from the engineers. That's good. Well, Thomas, very excited to have you here. If you have any questions, either now... Okay, here comes the second wave of enemies. If you have any questions now or in the future, you can certainly reach out to us during stream. You can reach out to us via Discord. You can also direct message me on Twitch if there's anything we can do to help you out on BattleTech Advanced. We're big fans of BattleTech Advanced on this channel. And one of the great things about BattleTech Advanced is the fact that the developers for this mod are extremely user-friendly. That's one of the challenges with this with mods in BattleTech is some people find some of the mod developers are not as friendly with people who are asking for help or support for their mods. In particular, the developers of Rogue Tech are not what I would call the most user-friendly. And it can be a little frustrating for people when they're trying to get legitimate help and the mod developers are not very helpful for them. BattleTech Advanced, on the other hand, is the alternate extreme. They are very friendly, both on the Discord, and the developer himself, Bloody Doves, is extremely friendly and easy to talk to. So I talk to Bloody Doves probably every couple weeks if I have a question or if there's something that I want to understand better. I reach out to the developer, and I've never had a problem or any pushback about asking questions. Oh, Tex. Did you find Tex by checking out his channel? I should mention that. So if you're discovering BattleTech and you really want to learn about the lore behind BattleTech, really check out Tex on the Black Pants Legion on YouTube.com.
Right, Commander.
Yep, Tex is a great guy. He's one of my favorite YouTube streamers for sure, and he has amazing videos about BattleTech lore. They are really high caliber, high quality stuff. Alright, so we got to shift gears and at least put some of our forces against this new enemy force. So waste, we'll just shoot lasers. Well, that's an APC. I'm kind of surprised the enemy sent an APC. Yes. Texas lore videos are the best, most entertaining videos I've ever seen on lore, regardless of a topic. Tex actually spends probably a month to 2 months on each one of his videos from start to finish. He does research, he does interviews. He's a very thorough lore teller, to say the least.
My armor is peeling away.
Ooh, rifleman. Alright, we've got some really good salvage on the field here. Thomas, I think I'm about 90 days into this playthrough of BattleTech Advanced, so I'm pretty early on in this playthrough. Yeah, it's always nice for me, Thomas, when I get a notification. Oh, here comes... Oh, that excavator didn't go for melee. I thought he would. When I open up my YouTube and I get a notification, usually there's a premiere for all of Tex's videos that he sets up a couple days ahead of time. And it's a lot of fun to count down for his videos and then watch them at the premiere. I try to do that as much as I can, because they are a lot of fun. I want to encourage everybody who's on the stream to get involved in the chat. And if you haven't given us a follow yet, give us our follow. You're entered into our Funko Pop giveaway. The more you interact with our streams, the better your chances of winning a free Funko Pop. Let's actually use a fire starter here to see if they can finish off this Ostel. Not too worried about salvage here because we already have four parts of an Orion available. So that is enough salvage for me. Anything extra is going to be gravy.
Keep an eye on my heat, Commander. Watch my heat. Reporting.
Alright, so that first enemy force is down. So let's push on. We got to get in position to fight this second enemy force. Try to keep it away from the base as much as we can. Alright, so we got a rifleman. Got a fulcrum. And another vehicle. Alright, definitely the biggest threat here is the riflemen. So what we actually want to do is we want to make sure that we get impaired sensors on the riflemen with the PPC. One of the biggest misunderstandings that people have with PPCs is they're not necessarily there just to do damage. A PPC, its biggest value is the fact that it causes impaired sensors on the opposition, which increases the chance that they're going to miss with their shots.
Sweet.
So don't think of a PPC as a damage dealer only. It also has the bonus of ruining the enemy's accuracy.
Waiting on you, Commander.
You know, that's why some people say, oh, you know, the PPC doesn't do the damage for the tonnage that I'd like. And that is true. But you always want to have some mechs with PPCs because that will increase your ability to impact the opponent's accuracy. Oh, you took the heirloom mech and you got the Anubis? I mean, Thomas, generally, when I talk to people, I always tell people to actually, if they're new to the game, to try to take the start where you get pilots from the BTA team as your pilots, because that really helps you out quite a bit. Hey, Big Fluffy. Thank you for joining us. We're always happy to see you in our chat.
Affirmative.
Thank you for stopping by. Thomas is new to our streams. He's also starting out a fresh playthrough of BTA. Big Fluffy, you're always in our streams. If you ever want to have the ability to act as a moderator in our streams, please let me know. I'd be happy to extend that authority to you.
Serious shit here, Commander.
Basically, the moderators, if you haven't done it before, just provide help to people in the chat rooms. They also have the ability to get rid of people who are acting inappropriate. It's really useful for us to have people in the chat that can do things to help out everybody, because the more people we have in the chat that are helping, obviously the more time I can spend on gameplay and trying to explain some of the things that I do. Alright, my fire starter's going to overheat if I go that way. So let's fire starter's going to overheat no matter what I do. Let's just go for a move instead of a sprint.
My heat gauge is getting pretty high.
We're going to overheat here. So we'll do a vigilance for the fire starter. Vigilance is a good way to... A vigilance and a brace is a good way to cool an overheated mech. And it also moves them up one turn, which means you're not waiting for a full turn for them to get their turn, despite the overheating. So that really comes in handy. Alright, so I've set up my Cyclone here as a backstabber, and it's worked out really well. We've already gotten rid of one Orion with the Cyclone. So what I'm trying to do is work this Cyclone into the rear of the enemy here. It's going to take one more round. But as you can see, that Cyclone with a PPC can do some nice backstabbing damage. Oh, no problem, Big Fluffy. I just wanted to ask, some people who join the streams a lot like to be moderators, so just wanted to throw that out there. We have a number of people who moderate. You're also at work.
Taking heavy hits,
Commander. Yeah, I totally get that. I wish I could watch at work. Unfortunately, I'm always too busy. Sometimes I'm able to watch at work, but very, 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 very infrequently. Maybe occasionally during the holidays when work is slow, I can do that. But I'm very jealous of you guys that can do that. All right, keep working on that Rifleman. We already have 4 parts of a Orion for salvage. So I'm not too worried about additional salvage beyond that Orion. It's going to be really nice salvage for us. That's going to be our first heavy for this playthrough.
Reporting. Minimal damage.
Assuming I can get all 4 parts. Alright, Hunchback. Yeah, let's go for a... I don't want to go for a charge. Don't want to go for a charge. Always be careful with melee.
I'm there.
It's really tempting to do a charge, but 9 times out of 10, if you do a charge, you're actually doing more damage to yourself than it's worth.
Firing.
Charges should be considered last-ditch weapons where you have no other option than I would do a charge. But generally speaking, I avoid using charge. Yes, that is true, Big Fluffy. So one of the things that you can always do, Thomas, I don't know if you've picked this up yet, but yes, you kick. Exactly. Kicking takes away the target's evasion. You get extra damage, and as long as most of your weapons are in the torso and the arms, then you're going to still get to shoot your weapons. Exactly right. Plus, if you kick, you're at point-blank range, and your accuracy for your weapons is going to go up much higher. All right, that rifleman overheated. All right. Oh, and our engineers have come back to help us. That's always good. Now, there's probably another enemy force that's approaching from the other side of the map. So we're going to have to start switching our lance over to where we need to defend against the next enemy force. There's usually at least 3 enemy forces on a defend the base mission. Yep, that's a good strategy, Thomas. One of the first things you have to look at a mech is taking the ammo out of the torso. I don't understand why that ever happens. Another thing, Thomas, is early on in your playthroughs, most of your mechs are lights, and a lot of them have jump jets. If you take the jump jets out and you maximize the armor, it makes your early lights able to handle damage above their tonnage. And I think that's when I start out, I always take the jump jets out of as many mechs as I can and replace it with armor. Yes, unless you have case in the center torso, I don't like to keep ammo there. Except for Gauss ammo, because Gauss ammo will not explode. Also, plasma ammo won't explode either. So...
Negative damage. Repeat. Negative damage.
Awaiting orders.
And that's... But I always take the jump jets out of my early mechs to make them much more survivable.
Yes, Commander.
I know jump jets are a lot of fun, but early on, you're better off having the armor than the jump jets. Some people disagree with me, but I stand by that pretty closely.
Aye, aye.
All right. All right, so we got the Cyclone. Let's go for a kick on this Fulcrum. Yeah, Big and Fluffy, it's kind of a trade-off, right? So people who like the jump jets, I say, okay, fine. Take your most mobile lights and keep the jump jets. But your heavier lights, like, for example, a fire starter, a Jenner, something that can actually do a little tanking for you, try to take the jump jets off.
Losing armor left and right here. Waiting For order.
That's did you start out with a hunchback as one of your early mechs? If so, that's a very lucky roll for your first group of mechs. If you started out with a hunchback, that's one of the better ones to start out with. Gonna overheat here.
Firing on target.
I can't believe they sent an APC to attack a base. That's kind of silly. My concern is that there's another enemy force that's moving towards the base that's gonna start doing some damage to the base here.
Damage minimal.
Because this initial enemy force, or the second enemy force, I should say, is taking a little longer
Orders.
to get rid of than I would like. All right, let's do a kick on this vehicle.
Location confirmed.
Here we go. We do a kick. Yeah, that's a good mech to start out with. The Hunchback is definitely going to be your brawler to start out. No question about it.
Okay, that was bad.
Wow, you got a Kataro. You got a Kataro to start out. That's probably the best mech to start out. I know you can't Alpha Strike necessarily all the time with the Kataro, but the Kataro is a very good brawler. So even if you can't shoot all of the
I'm receiving.
weapons, I tend to like the Kataro more than the Hunchback. But hey, everybody has different likes and dislikes, and whatever works for your gameplay is what's important. That's one of the great things about BattleTech Advanced, is there's no one way to play this game, because there's so many different ways to play it.
Crawler destroyed.
Reporting.
Yeah, Kentaro is one of my favorite medium mechs. There's a couple ways you can get around the heat issues, but yeah, it runs hot.
Waiting for orders.
Alright, let's see if we can finish off this last vehicle. There might not be another wave. This might be the only two waves we're up against on this mission. Because I haven't seen any indication there's another wave of enemies. Yeah, Kataros are actually not very common in BTA unless you go in the area where House Kurita is. Either working for missions for or against House Kurita is where you can get Kentaros. Because it's one of their traditional mechs.
Printing.
And, you know, Kentaros are relatively rare in modded BattleTech. In regular BattleTech, they're very common. But, you know, the biggest thing I could tell you, Thomas,
Confirmed.
is when I started out and I got a new mech, the first thing I would do is look up the mech on Sarna and figure out what it was designed to do, and you use the mechs for what they're designed to do. For example, you don't use a Warhammer as a brawler, it will get destroyed. But a Warhammer is a great direct fire support weapon in this as a sniper and as a fire support. But if you use a Warhammer as a brawler, it's not going to go well. So try to figure out what mechs you have and what they're designed to do and use them that way. Or you can modify them to fit the role that you want, but generally speaking, it's hard to make a fire support mech into a brawler and vice versa. So it's usually best to use a mech for what they were designed to do within the battle space. Alright, nice return for payout. We actually got a decent amount of money for that mission. We got a little bit of damage to our hunchback. Nothing too serious. Probably just a day. No injuries. But here's the beauty, because we get all these Orion parts, which means we now have an Orion out of this mission. Any mission that you can get a mech out of is a good mission. Alright, let's see if there's any components that are too good to be true here. We're taking that XL engine. Always look at the components, Thomas, before you finalize your salvage. Let me tell you. Alright, so we got the excavator mech. We got 4 parts of an Orion. And we got a rifleman. And we got some really good salvage. Can't complain. 23 million in salvage. Especially with that Orion. That Orion now becomes our heaviest mech. So it's our first heavy. Alright, it's our first heavy on this playthrough. Very nice. It was really awesome that our lightest mech, which is only 30 tons, took out a 75-ton mech with a lucky headshot. So those things can happen. Alright, so we got to check out the barracks. We got some people who need to upgrade.
Awaiting order.
Andre here. Move him up. I haven't seen Andre lately. Andre's usually a regular to our streams, but I have not seen him lately. Hopefully he'll come back. I know he's very busy with his artwork. Alright, let's keep pushing our tactician down the tactician road.
Yes, Commander.
So one thing I like to do, Thomas, and it really depends on what you like, but personally I really like to take the passive abilities like Bulwark and Multi-Target are good examples because you can use those passive abilities every round, whereas the active abilities you can only use a certain number of times per mission. So I try to focus, when it comes to skills, it's very much like vanilla Battletech. So I emphasize gunnery and guts first, and usually piloting and tactics you can upgrade slowly with extra points after you upgrade the gunnery and guts. So typically after a couple of missions, I also let my pilots build up points over a couple missions instead of going in every mission and upgrading them, because I find that you can get leveled up quicker and less frustrating that way than if you're constantly going in and saying, oh, I need a few skill points. Oh, I need a few skill points. Alright, so we're going to repair our hunchback. That's going to take 1 day. So we're going to put that to the top of the list. Alright. And we need to put our new toy together. Alright, so I can put together the Orion MA. or the Orion K. Right. So the Orion K is not as advanced as the Orion M. Okay, so we're going to take the Orion MA. Costs us a little bit more money, but it's a lot more powerful than the Orion K. So let's look at our new toy. All right, so we got an LBX. We've got an LRM-20. We've got an SRM-6. And we have case. Eventually, I'd like to move this ammo out of the torso, but we're okay right now because we have case. We have an XL engine, which we would not have gotten with the K version. Yep, the heat can be crazy on an Orion. That is for sure. So I'm actually okay with this build with one change. All right, so we're going to take out the medium pulses because they're not worth the tonnage, in my opinion. So what we could do is we could take, I don't have any ER medium lasers, but we could take regular lasers, put those in instead of the pulses, and we could take that extra 2 tons and put it into armor to make us much more durable. That'll take us 2 days, but that's going to be worth it. So now that we have an Orion, we can actually step up our difficulty. This Orion is a bit of a game changer. Alright. So we need some room in the mech bay. I'm not really using this Stinger Lamb anymore, so let's put that into storage. Alright, do we have any other mechs we could put together? Not at the moment. No, we don't have any extra mechs to put together. That's fine. So I'm going to wait the extra couple days till we have the Orion. Also means I get one of my better pilots back. Alright, so... oh boy. So this is that scheme where you're trying to get money from getting a Tiger Falcon. This scheme almost always backfires. It's a trap. So I always order the mech pilot to ignore. Like, I think it's a 10% chance that you get your money back with that story. It's really too good to be true. Alright, so I've got... So I've got the, so I've got our Orion now. And our Orion is definitely our heaviest mech. So one of the things I like to do is I like to put my mechs in the mech bay in tonnage order. I find that it's a good way to keep track of our mechs to do that. So I generally like to do that. So, all right, so we've got an Orion now. We've got our 2 hunchbacks. But bigger is not always better. So we're not going to take both hunchbacks and the Orion most of the time. We're probably just going to take, let's see. We've got a nice assassinate mission. So let's take that. 2 skulls. So we're going to take our least powerful hunchback. Take that out of the rotation. We're going to take our Orion, put it back in the rotation. We got our pilot, our best pilot back. Even though our pilot is an energy pilot, he's still the best pilot for that. Well, no, actually, I'll take T-Bone. T-Bone can stay in there. Well, we're actually going to put Tortured Lemming in the Panther, because that's an energy weapon. We got the Hunchback, we got the Firestarter. We're definitely short of pilots right now. We'll take Andre in the Firestarter, because he's a better pilot. So we've got the Orion, the Hunchback, Firestarter, Panther, and the Cyclone. Now I could just take the other Hunchback again, but then we wouldn't have another medium as a reserve in case we have damage to the Orion or the Hunchback. I always try to keep flexibility by not taking my heaviest mechs every mission. So I like to have at least a couple mechs, or in this case one mech, in reserve in that medium bracket. And let's go. We'll have fun with our new Orion here. Eventually I'll take the LRM-20 off and probably replace it with something that has a little bit more punch. I'd love to take some MRMs and put it in replace of the LRMs on this build, because the Orion is more of a brawler, but we'll keep the LRM-20s in for now. Alright, this is a nice assassination mission. Alright, time check. I have about 50 more minutes to play, and then my partner IMG is going to come on, and he's going to do a couple hours of BattleTech Advanced as well. So that way you could just stay here and enjoy BattleTech Advanced with two different streamers over the course of 4 hours. Alright, I see we have a lot of people in the stream. I want to encourage everyone to use your keyboard and get involved in the chat. We also have a challenge available. You can use your channel points towards a 12-hour mega stream of BattleTech Advanced. So if you guys are interested in a mega stream of 12 hours, let us know and we will make it happen. Alright, so let's look at... So what I like to do with these maps is I like to look at where everything is first, especially in an urban environment. So the insurgent leader is over there. Supporting enemy forces are right in front of me. Enemy reinforcements are behind me. So we're stuck between a rock and a hard place here.
Yes, Commander.
So one of the things we could do is move towards one of the forces as quickly as possible, because we want to not get ambushed and surrounded. So one of the best ways you can deal with the fact that you're surrounded is to push through, find a weak point, and break out of the force that's surrounding you. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take one side of the force that's attacking us, and we're going to push through. Ooh, Blackjack Omni. That's some good salvage there. And try to escape the trap. Because if I stay where I am right now, I'm going to have two enemy forces fighting me at the same time. So if we stand pat, it's not a good strategy. So what we need to do is we need to move towards one of the two enemy forces and break through so we're not surrounded.
Certainly.
Getting surrounded in BattleTech, especially BattleTech Advanced, is one of the best ways to lose. I don't care how good you are or how good your mechs are. If you get surrounded, you eventually will die. Because you're just going to take too much damage over time, even if your mechs are good and your pilots are good, eventually the enemy will wear you out. I'm pushing through the most dangerous enemy force. I could have gone after the reserves, but the challenge is I would rather have the reinforcements force attack my rear than the supporting enemy forces, because usually the group called supporting enemy forces is usually the heaviest of the enemy forces on one of these missions. So I would rather have my front armor facing the biggest threat than have the biggest threat facing my rear armor. Alright. Are you telling me, Big Fluffy, that you're a fan of war crimes? Because each time you take one of those buildings down, it's a war crime. I'm just kidding.
Careful.
There are no real war crimes in Battletech lore unless you use a nuclear weapon
Guys, that hit
against a populated planet,
hard. We're getting outflanked.
or you destroy a jump jet, which is, a jump ship, which is considered. Jump ships are something that you should never shoot at in Battletech. Obviously, we don't do it in this game, but in Battletech lore, warships would never shoot at jump ships. They would just ask them to surrender, because jump ships are impossible to manufacture because it's basically lost tech.
Armor's holding.
All right, armor's
Waiting on you,
holding.
Commander.
Right. Our Orion gets into the fray here. It's going to be slower than everybody else, but at least it has some LRMs here to give us some support. Let's actually use the LRMs on that Blackjack because it already has structural damage. And we would love to take some weapons off of that Blackjack if we can. Not that round. Ooh, a Lao Hu. Alright, that's a pretty serious target right there. That's a lot of firepower on that Lao Hu. That would be some good salvage on this mission. The Lao Hu is a great support mech because it has components in it that help your whole lance. Alright, so we're going to push up with our fire starter. We want our fire starter to get right in on the enemy. And warm up this Centurion. Nice, nice.
Commander?
Yeah, LRMs are basically splat damage across a whole mech. And you know, it's not ideal. I don't love LRMs.
Let's move.
I don't hate them enough to take them off of that Orion. Plus, I don't have better components. But eventually, I would take those LRMs off and put MRMs on the Orion because the MRMs do more damage per round. And the Orion is a really good brawler, so I can get it into close range and really make the most of those MRMs.
Sprinting.
Alright, so I'm trying to work on getting my light mechs to flank the enemy's heavier mechs. Let's see. But I also would like to get a PPC shot into this Lao Hu because that will impair the sensors on the Lao Hu. So again, PPCs should go towards a mech. Ooh, so somebody has an Arrow 4 launcher.
Sounding, Commander.
Probably our primary target has an Arrow 4 launcher. So we're going to get spammed with LRM 4s for a while. Or for Arrow 4s for a while. Alright. But there's not much we could do about that right now. So we're better off focusing on our primary targets. Alright, let's keep working on this Blackjack Omni. If we could break off some arms on this Blackjack, that would be good. Alright, so those LRMs are coming from the reinforcements. So that's why we constantly have to keep moving past this first enemy force so we can get behind the enemy force, and then we have all of the enemies in front of us instead of being stuck in between them. It's very important. If you stay in the middle of multiple enemy forces, oof, ouch. Ouch. Hard hit on our Panther there. Okay. We're going to have to watch our Panther the rest of the mission now. That Blackjack got in a good hit. Ooh, and I love the fact that they just shot their own mech in the back. That's hilarious. The AI doesn't worry as much about friendly fire as we do. They have no problem destroying each other to destroy us. Right, we got to keep pushing the Orion towards the enemy force here. We don't want it to get caught from behind by the enemy reinforcements. Alright, so let's see. We got it. This Centurion is shut down. So let's go for a slug shot in the leg. See if we can take that leg out. There we go. Oh, we destroyed him. We must have hit some ammo. Ammo explosion. There goes the Centurion. That's actually a pretty good outcome for us because I don't really want Centurion parts. I'd like to get the heavier mech parts if we can here. Alright, our Panther's in trouble. Oof. Panther is in trouble.
Yes, Commander.
Alright, I mean, the good thing we have here, to be honest, is the fact that my Panther is kind of disposable at this point because
I understand.
we're probably going to have better mechs really soon, so I don't have to worry about the Panther long term. I'm more concerned about the pilot being hurt because that's one of my better pilots.
Come on, mech warriors.
Right, there goes that Blackjack. 3 parts on the Blackjack. That's not bad because the Blackjack Omni is a Omni mech, so it's actually a really good mech to get some parts out of. So I'm happy with that. Alright, our Panther. Alright, our Panther needs to actually take cover as much as it can. Alright, so let's try to get
On my way.
some cover from that building. It's not perfect, but it's at least a little cover. And we're going to have to do a vigilance, which will take the instability away from the Panther, and a brace.
My heat's getting pretty high.
Yeah, the Blackjack has really good components in it too. So even if we don't want the Blackjack as a mech, it has really good components. Alright, so we're going to keep pushing our light mechs around the enemy. Our Cyclone is really good with its speed, getting around to the rear of the enemy here. And with a snub-nosed PPC, we can start doing some damage to the back of this mech. One more round, and that Cyclone will be to the rear of the enemy. And it can do a number on that Lao Hu. Was that an arrow? Yeah, the arrow 4 is going after the Panther. Okay.
Ready to rock.
That's alright. Because I'm actually probably going to eject the Panther very soon. Because the Panther has one of my better pilots in it, and I don't want to risk losing that pilot in a mech that really can't do anything anymore because of the fact that it's got so much damage.
Engaging target.
So sometimes it really makes sense to eject your pilots. Not only to preserve the mech, if it's a high quality mech and it's about to die, but also to
Minor damage,
avoid injuries to your pilot. So that's one of the first rules of BattleTech is BattleTech Advanced is don't be afraid to eject a pilot to save a mech or protect a pilot. It's going to be worth it in the long run. Even in the short run if it gives you a challenge with the next battle, because the enemy is always going to target that Panther because that Panther has damage already. So it's going to be really hard to get that Panther through the battle because the enemy's always going to be targeting that Panther.
Yeah, that was good.
So in this case, it makes sense to just eject that Panther the next turn. So that's what we're going to do, assuming it survives. Let's see. Alright, took a rear shot on our fire starter there. Out. That hurts.
Okay, that was really bad.
Ah, that Lao Hu has Inferno ammo.
Commander?
Alright, Panther. You can't do that much more for us. Although, I'm going to keep you in one more round. Just one more round. And we're going to use a precision strike to make the most of this shot here.
Roger that.
Sensors impaired. Okay. So next round, that Panther is going to have to be ejected.
Awaiting order.
I'm more worried about preserving the pilot than the mech.
As you wish.
Alright, our fire starter is overheating here. But we still should be able to at least shoot our flamers. Yep. So let's work on overheating this Lao Hu. Alright, that's a good start.
Heat damage. Damn it.
You didn't get heat damage. Alright, now I could go for the rear shot on this Lao Hu, but I want to get as many parts as possible. So I'm moving so I can shoot at the legs of the Lao Hu here as much as I can. I want to try to get as many parts of that mech as I can. I could have gone for a couple rounds of backstabbing if I didn't care about salvage. Alright, keep going for the... Alright, so at least the arrow launcher went for the Hunchback there instead of the Panther. Okay. Alright, so that's our assassination target, I think, that's going after the Panther now.
Careful! They're looping around back!
Yep, I know.
Hey! Knock it off!
Panther should survive to eject. Ouch. Hard hit on our fire starter there.
That shot got past my armor.
Hey Justin, thank you for joining our stream.
What can I do for you?
Alright, let's push up with the Orion. Now I'm trying to maximize salvage on the Lao Hu, so I'm going to try to get rid of this other mech that I don't care about first, because then we could focus down on the mech that we really want the most salvage out of.
Another hit like that, and you're toast.
Alright, that's a lot of Inferno. Good thing about the Inferno is it's not causing us a lot of armor damage.
Reporting.
Alright, so our Panther is still in this fight. But I'd like to move the Firestarter in. Let's move the Firestarter in.
Moving
Go
out.
for a kick
Engage.
to do some damage to the leg, and then we'll do some flamers to keep this mech overheating. Very nice, very nice. We're trying to maximize salvage on the more valuable mech here.
Good to go.
Alright, Panther. Let's see. Alright, so what if we move you so you can get a nice rear shot
Moving to
on the
position.
back of this heavy. That also gets your front armor towards the force that's coming in, so that's a positive
Firing
too.
everything I've got.
Nice, nice backstab there.
Commander.
Ready to get it on.
Right, Cyclone here. We're going to keep working on that one leg on one side. Really trying to maximize salvage here. Ooh, hard hit on our Hunchback.
I'm catching some
But it's
serious
hanging in there.
Commander.
It's hanging in there.
Yep.
Alright, let's go in for melee on this heavy. And we're going to have to turn off some weapons to make this work. Right, we can still do the heavy flamer and the machine gun array along with the melee.
Watch my heat. My heat gauge is getting pretty high.
Here comes that arrow. Yep.
Armor breach. Internal damage.
That arrow actually did more damage to their own mech than our mech. Kind of funny. I love it when the enemy attacks itself. Alright, we're doing okay. We're actually doing
I hear ya.
pretty well here. Alright, let's push in.
You betcha.
Right, if I shoot at this target, the chances of us hitting the Hunchback are really high. So we're going to have to switch targets here and go for the Lao Hu. Hope we hit something good.
Our go. There's more where that came from. I'm losing weapon system.
Alright, they take another shot at our Panther.
Damage minor.
Alright. Ooh, and the Lao Hu overheated. That's beautiful. Alright, so now that we have the Lao Hu at a heat disadvantage, our Firestarter should be able to finish off this Lao Hu by itself. It's going to get 2 rounds to do damage with the Lao Hu just sitting there. So hopefully we can take out some legs here. Or cause the pilot to eject or die from heat.
Solid connection on that one.
All those things work to my advantage. And we can start turning our mechs around after we take out this heavy here to face the next group of enemy mechs coming in. All right, let's do Battle Lord here.
That's a critical hit.
All right, we got knocked down. And a pilot injury. Nice.
Ready for orders.
All right, our Cyclone will sprint over and start working on taking this heavy apart while it's ground. All right, let's start taking off the legs here.
Time to unload. Reporting critical hit.
Yay, ejected 4 parts of that heavy. So now we've got some really good salvage already, so we don't even have to worry about what else comes to pass. It looks like some of the enemy reinforcements are vehicles. Alright. So we're going to turn our hunchback around and pair it up with our Orion, and we can start focusing in on that second enemy force that's coming in. But while we wait for them, we might as well take out the leg on this Lao Hu.
I got you.
There we go. We'll get knocked down, and that makes it even easier for our fire starter to finish off that Lao Hu. Nice. Nice job there. Alright, yeah, looks like the reinforcements are vehicles. Huh, again, they keep hitting their own mechs more than they're hitting ours. Alright, so we're going to actually reorient the Orion to face these vehicles that are coming up. We don't need the Orion to finish off this Lao Hu. We can actually have the Panther and the Firestarter finish this guy off, probably.
We can do this. Let's go.
Alright, here's our Firestarter. We can keep working on this Lao Hu,
Critical attack.
which is in bad shape. It's overheated. We're going to keep overheating it, hopefully causing the pilot to eject or die from heat.
Scored a critical hit.
Good to go.
Alright, so our Panther we kept in this fight, which is actually a good thing now, because now that we have an enemy coming from one direction, we can actually use the Panther as fire support in the rear of our formation, and hopefully they won't target the Panther now. So keeping the Panther here was a good decision. Oh, and we got an ejection on the Lao Hu.
Receiving you.
Alright, so now our next deal is we need to start working on these enemy vehicles that are coming up. So let's push our Cyclone up
No shooting, just running.
so he can start moving towards the enemy and getting us vision. So as you can see, by pushing through that enemy force, we kept ourselves from being encircled by the enemy, and now we can take one of these enemy forces out at a time instead of having all of them attack us at the same time. In BattleTech Advanced, you're almost always going to be outnumbered. So you have to use smart strategy. You can't simply just rely on your firepower and your pilots to get you out of things.
Can't take much more of this.
You want to use good strategy. Good strategy will beat a good mech every time.
Is that all you got? Waiting for orders.
Alright, let's start moving towards these vehicles. We want to get within melee range of these enemy vehicles as quickly as we can.
Reporting.
Alright, we're going to have to keep our fire starter and our panther to the rear. Because they've already... Oh!
Oh, that hit me.
Oh, our fire starter fell down. That was bad luck. That's all that was. That was just bad luck. Nothing to it than that. Alright, our panther can get vision on the enemy. Let's see what we got here. Alright, we got an SRM. We got a prowler. Might as well take that shot.
Firing on target.
Oh, alright. That was a bad shot.
Aye, aye.
Alright, we're going to push up with our cyclone. Not sure what you mean by that question. Rear arc negates station or just cover? Oh, community challenge 50% complete. Goggles contributed 8,000 towards our 12-hour BTA stream. Hey Goggles, thank you for joining us. I wasn't expecting to see you today. Thank you for stopping by.
Fire.
Got to try to take these vehicles out as quickly as we can so we can go towards the primary target. Goggles, Thomas in our chat is also starting out a new playthrough of BattleTech Advanced. So you guys both have that in common. Thomas Goggles just started his playthrough a week ago, and like you, he said that the beginning was very hard, but once he got through the learning curve, he really loves this mod. So if you're feeling that way, rest assured. Okay, so the Chaparral missile artillery tank has the Arrow 4. So this now becomes our primary target. We got to get rid of this thing as quickly as we can. That Arrow 4 is the biggest, most powerful weapon they have on the field right now. So we want to get rid of that.
They've got a sensor lock on.
All right, they're using the Prowler to sensor lock, which is fine with me. The Prowler is one of their strongest units right now. Oh, they got mobile artillery. Oh, okay. So that's a thumper.
Took a hard hit there.
Right, the mobile artillery has a thumper, and then they have an arrow launcher as well. So there's actually lots of firepower in these vehicles. So we need to push up and get rid of these vehicles as quickly as we can. Alright. Ooh, okay. So we can hopefully finish off this arrow launcher right now. The hit percent chance is low, but it doesn't take much to take out a Chaparral missile artillery tank because they're almost all of their tonnage is taken up by that arrow launcher. Okay, so there goes the Arrow 4 launcher. That was good.
Commander?
Alright, we're going to keep moving up with our Panther.
Right, Commander.
Hopefully they won't target our Panther because our Panther is not in the best shape. But it does have enough firepower that it's worth keeping in this fight right now. Especially if it gets some rear shots on these vehicles. Very important.
Orders.
Alright, Cyclone. Alright, Cyclone, why don't you go in for a kick on this mobile artillery. Again, since it has a thumper artillery piece, most of the tonnage for this vehicle is in the thumper. So it doesn't have a lot of armor. So So hopefully we can get rid of that thing quickly. Alright, our fire starter fell down the last time we sprinted. So, do we take the chance of sprinting it again? Probably not.
Certainly.
This fire starter is pretty much out of this fight right now. Can we go for a kick? No, we can only go for a charge on that thumper artillery. I'm not going to do that. But we can get in nice and close. Use a precision strike to increase our chances of a hit. And see if we can't take that thing out quickly. Missed with our AC.
Reporting. Critical hit.
Alright, let's see what the Prowler does. Goes after the Cyclone.
Light damage. Holding firm.
Ooh, I think that was a bad dice roll, Goggles.
Good to go.
I mean, you should have been fine in that scenario. I think that was just bad luck. But, you know, that's what makes it interesting. If this game was too easy, it wouldn't be fun.
Critical hit, Commander.
All right. Yeah, two bad dice rolls. To say the least, that's what happened to you. I'm sorry that happened to you. It's just kind of... unfortunately, it's just part of the game.
Sprinting.
All right.
Roger. Putting one in the back.
Let's keep working on that Prowler. Nice. Nice damage to the turret.
Good to go.
Alright, we're going to be aggressive with the Panther because we don't want this Prowler to turn. If it turns, then we're going to have to start working on the other armor. So we really want to see if we can hit that turret here. Let's see. Good start.
Critical hit, Commander.
I just want an in-game red I win button installed in the game, just like in life. Yeah, you know. I mean, we're all just trying to win life. That's a very philosophical way of putting it, Adam. I agree with you. You know, sometimes I kind of have to remind myself how lucky we are to have what we have in life, because there's some people, you know, it's easy to see things like the Kardashians or what you see in media about everybody living these amazing lives and having all this money and fame and fortune. But, you know, most people who live in countries like the United States, Canada, and Europe, most of them are in like the top 95% of the population of the world.
I'm taking heavy
You know,
hits, Commander.
most people in the United States are in, you know, even a poor person in the United States would be considered wealthy in some other countries.
Moving fast.
I'm glad you had a good time, Goggles. Anybody who wants to play MechWarrior 5 with us, we play it one day a week in the evenings on Wednesday. And Goggles played with us, and he did a great job. So we really like to get as many people to play as we can.
Our go.
Yeah, first world problems, Adam. That's a good way of putting it. You know, I mean, there are people in the world today who work all day, 7 days a week, and they make like $100 a week. So we are very fortunate to have the lives that we have.
Target acquired.
And sometimes you have to take a break and remind yourself that, you know, we're all very fortunate to have what we have in life. We're all healthy. All right, let's see if we can finish off this prowler.
Commander?
Might as well go in the
Got it.
fountain here and cool off a little bit. And see if we can finish off this prowler here.
Critical hit.
There we go. That was a good vital component hit right there. I don't want to do a charge on this weapons carrier. I see IMG is loading into BattleTech Advanced as we speak. He'll be taking over for me in just a few minutes. I have a hard stop at 40 minutes after, so hopefully I can finish this mission before I have to leave.
Confirmed.
But I think we have this mission pretty much under control now. Yes, IMG, I do stalk you. Every move you make, I'll be watching you. Rest assured. Alright, so where's the enemy insurgent leader? Okay, so it's right over there. Alright, so we've got our whole lance against one enemy mech. So let's bear down
Sprinting.
and finish off this insurgent leader so IMG can take over the stream. IMG has a different playthrough, so he's going to be playing a completely different playthrough than me. He's a little further along because I just did a fresh start. But his start, to give IMG credit that is due, he started out with a battle armor start, which is about as difficult as you can make your life.
Waiting for orders.
So those of you that think it's hard to start with a medium mech or two, imagine if you just started with battle armor and a couple light mechs, because that's how IMG started his playthrough. Everyone needs a hobby. You're looking at my hobby right now.
Orders.
Alright, let's push in on this enemy.
10-4.
Alright, got 7 more minutes, IMG, and then I'm going to hand it off to you. So get your popcorn ready for IMG.
Good to go.
He's always an entertaining watch.
Moving fast.
Alright, so we got a grasshopper and a nighthawk. Alright, I didn't know we were going to have 2 enemies left. It says destroy insurgent leader 01, but there's 2 enemies. So that was a surprise.
Concentrate your fire. Bring it
Yep, grasshopper. Grasshopper is better salvage than anything else I've gotten salvage on so far on this mission. I love the grasshoppers. Grasshoppers are one of the most useful medium heavy mechs in the game. Love the grasshopper.
Confirmed.
Yep, IMG just responded to what I just said. Oh, a knockdown on our fire starter keeps falling down because there's damage to his legs.
Right, Commander.
ready for orders.
Yeah, if I could get fire starter parts, I would take it over anything else we've gotten on this mission. So, let's see. I've got 5 minutes left. Alright, let's see what our hit percent chance is. Much better on the fire grasshopper. So let's go for a grasshopper hit here. This will also give him sensors impaired, which will reduce his chances of hitting us back.
Confirm.
So let's focus down that hunchback while we can.
Affirmative.
Yeah, Grasshopper's got a lot of armor on it.
Commander?
I doubt we're going to get through this before the end of this mission, which is fine,
Sprinting.
because I have a hard stop. But, let's see, we got 4 more minutes. And then I unfortunately need to go. Lousy hit percent chance on this Nighthawk, but
Commencing Alpha Strike.
hey, Andre. Thank you for joining us. The Roughneck. I hadn't seen you in a couple days, so I'm glad you stopped by. The Roughneck, to be honest, is better off. You're better off selling a Roughneck than fielding a Roughneck, because you can actually get a fair amount of C-bills out of selling a Roughneck, and it's really not a very useful mech. So that's what I would say about a Roughneck. You probably have better mechs than the Roughneck. I know it has a lot of armor.
We're down a mech, Commander.
Ugh, there goes our fire starter. Yeah. Yeah, that was not good. That was not good. May have lost that fire starter pilot. We'll see what happens.
Confirm. No joy.
I thought for sure I would lose the Panther, not the fire starter in this fight, but that's the way it's working out right now. Let's do precision strike on this Nighthawk. I don't care about salvage, just trying to get this thing off the map as quickly as we can.
Losing armor left and right here.
Alright, got 2 more minutes left. I don't think I'm going to finish off either of these mechs in the next 2 minutes. So I'll have to update you guys in my stream tomorrow with how this battle
Commander.
worked out.
Waiting for orders. Affirmative. All weapons are go. Critical hit, Commander.
Systems holding.
Commander?
Alright, so our Panther's moving in. The one thing we could do with this Panther, and I've said it many times, is get sensors impaired on this Grasshopper.
All weapons are go.
So he's less likely to hit us when he fires. That's the real value of a PPC. Let's move our Cyclone in so we can start actually taking shots at the legs of this Grasshopper. Hopefully. Didn't hit the legs there. And unfortunately, I need to step away now. So I think we're going to finish off this mission pretty easily here. Hopefully we'll get as many parts of the Grasshopper as we can, and I'll update you on how this ended on my next stream for BattleTech Advanced, which is tomorrow morning at 9 Eastern Time. Stay on the channel because IMG is going to immediately start his stream, so that you don't have to go anywhere for more BattleTech fun. Stay right here and IMG will be right with you. Talk to you guys soon.